Alright gamers, I'm Danny from Press Start Gaming and welcome back to the channel. This time we're going to take a look at underrated Xbox 360 games. Let's crack on. Right, so the first Xbox 360 game that I think is underrated is Time Shift. I'm not going to go into massive detail about all these games because I really just want to bring them to your attention so you can maybe do a little bit of Google research, maybe watch a few videos of gameplay online, decide for yourself whether you think it looks like a good game, maybe pick it up and add it to your collection, or at least just give them a playthrough because they are all really good games. So Time Shift is a first-person shoot-'em-up game where you are given the ability to, guess what? Control time. It's brought to you by the legends that are Sierra, and it just works well, you know. I'm not sure if it was brought out at a time when it clashed with the release of another big game. I'm not sure, but all I can tell you is it got quite low ratings on Metacritic. I think it's got a rating of 68, I believe. All games that I mention are going to be between sort of 60 and 72. One of them is way down, but I'll mention that in a minute, and I don't understand why. But yeah, Time Shift on the Xbox 360, if you enjoy first-person shoot-'em-ups, and if you enjoy first-person shoot-'em-ups with a decent story and maybe a gimmicky feature, then this is definitely one for you. It's very, very good. The next one is a licensed game, and it's licensed off a movie that I have never seen. It's probably a movie I would never will see, as I'm just not a movie guy, and I'm not really into this source material, let's say. And that game is The Godfather 2. This game again received low 70 scores on Metacritic, and it's really good. If you was to look at Mafia 3 on the PS4 and Xbox One, this game beats the shit out of that one. The missions are excellent, the world is full of stuff to do, the handling of the cars, which is always a thing that can make these games, these open world games, sink or swim, because if it's got bad handling of the car you spend a lot of the time driving. But it's just brilliant, it works so well, and I'm really surprised that it's from EA. Like, how have EA managed to do this, make such a brilliant game, and somehow it just didn't get very good ratings? Like, people just didn't seem to rate it, but I think it's so much better than what people say. And if you haven't tried it, I would recommend it. It's really good if you like your open world games along the lines of Mafia, Grand Theft Auto, them sort of games, and this is definitely one worth trying. The next game that I believe is underrated is it's a series that I believe started on the original Xbox. I'm not sure if it was on PC or anything like that before, but that series is Dead to Rights, and this is Dead to Rights Retribution. I played Dead to Rights on the original Xbox and I loved it. I thought it was great. And when they announced that Dead to Rights was coming to the 360, like a whole new sequel, I was hyped. I really thought it was going to be good. And it came out and it was really good. But the magazines, the internet, the general consensus of this game is that it's not very good. People gave this, again, high 60s. And it deserves so much better than that. The controls are brilliant, the combat is, until Batman Arkham Asylum, the combat in Dead to Rights is some of the best combat I've ever seen. Yes, Arkham Asylum puts this to shame, but before Arkham Asylum, this was up there with some of the best combat I've ever experienced. And if you haven't played this game, definitely give it a go. It's easily worth your time and your effort to play this game and your money to buy this game, so yeah, give it a go, there's no reason not to. The next game is another licensed game. I think you'll find in this video I'm doing non-licensed, then licensed, and non-licensed, then licensed. This one is based on a series of movies that I actually enjoy, but I did read the books, which made me want to watch the films. There was quite a few games based on this franchise on the Xbox 360, and maybe this just got sort of lost in the mix, but that is Lord of the Rings Conquest. Now, this game, it takes a lot of influence from the original Star Wars Battlefront games on the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. Basically, you have different points on a map that you have to take over. You get to choose from different units from the faction that you are playing as, and it's just an overall real fun game. It's couch co-op, maybe that's a reason why I love it so much, because you can just play it split screen. But even if it wasn't couch co-op, I do think I would really enjoy this game. The combat is fun. What I don't understand is how the movie tie-in games that came out in the PlayStation 2 era were lauded as being really good games. I couldn't stand them. I thought they were just mindless hack and slash, pointless games. Yet this is somewhat hack and slash with a bit of strategy added in, and it's not liked. Maybe because this was Xbox 360 and those games were the original Xbox, so they expected more. But it is a really good game, and if you're a fan of The Lord of the Rings, I wouldn't pass it up. It's definitely worth your time to have a playthrough on this game. Maybe get some buddies over. Actually, it's only 2-player. Maybe get a buddy over, sit down on the couch, stick the game in your Xbox 360, and just have a lot of fun, because that's what this game is all about, and you will not regret it. The next one that I think is underrated, and this is the game that got round about the 40s, 45% in the gaming publications at the time. I understand that this game, potentially from a technical point of view, is not great, but the fun and enjoyment I get from playing it boosts that score by a big percentage. And I've recently mentioned it on Twitter. Just last Sunday, it was my game for Xbox Sunday, and that is Naughty Bear. I almost understand why people don't like this game, but you play a serial killer teddy bear. Like, what is there not to like? The gameplay is good enough for it to be fun and get some enjoyment out of it. There is enough levels and varied goals for you to get a little bit of replayability out of it. Like I said, it's not one of the greatest games ever, but people consider this to be one of the worst games on the Xbox 360, and that's just horse shit. It is a decent, fun game to play. If you've never even heard of it, then I don't blame you, because it had a little bit of hype before it came out, but as soon as it came out, it was just forgotten about because people said it was so bad. But it's not. Give it a go. Let's try and get Naughty Bear back into the limelight, because it's such a good game. No, it's not a good game. It's such a fun game. It's such a fun game to play. And some of the death sequences that you can do in this are crazy. But yeah, if you haven't played it, pick up a copy. Talk about it with people. Mention it on Twitter. Mention it on any of your social medias. Let's get people remembering that this game is actually decent. So the next game is a licensed game, and it's licensed off a series of movies, again, that I've never seen. But it is a very fun game. The combat is brilliant, and yeah, everything is really good about this game, and I don't understand why it's not considered an 8.5 out of 10 game. And that is The Bourne Conspiracy. Yes, it might just be a cover fighter, but what really makes this game stand out is the hand-to-hand combat. The way they did the combat in this game is brilliant, and again, it's by Sierra. Like, Sierra don't make poor games very often. Let's say I don't know the whole of Sierra's back catalogue, so I can't say, but most of the games I've played by Sierra have been really good games, and this is no exception. Again, I don't understand why people hated it. I played it through from start to finish and thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. I don't get why this game gets hate. Therefore, it deserves a place in my underrated Xbox 360 video. The next game, this is actually a sealed copy. I will probably open it when I get around to playing it. I'm not the sort of person who likes to keep games in their sealed state. But this is The Bureau, XCOM Declassified. Now, I am a massive fan of the XCOM series. Even going back to the days of the 90s when it probably wasn't as good as it is today, but it was still a very good game. Basically, it's an isometric tactics game where you move your guys around on the map and try and kill the other people. I don't really know what it's called. I'm not really a massive fan of the genre, let's say, but I do really, really like XCOM. And this was them trying to take XCOM in a new direction. This is a third-person action game, almost a cover shooter, where you play as someone from the Bureau, who are the government body that are trying to kill off the aliens from the planet Earth. And overall, I would say it's a really good game. There's a bit of mystery involved. The combat is really good. Graphically, it's quite good. It's quite a late Xbox 360 game, so the graphics are quite decent. The game is set in 1962 during the first alien invasion, and it didn't really get high ratings. I think because it was probably because all of the XCOM fanboys was expecting another XCOM game, and when this is what they got, they probably threw the dummy out the pram and was like, no, I don't want that. But this is what they got, and it's a good game. Again, if you've not heard of it, if you've not played it, even if you're not a fan of the XCOM games, definitely give it a go. It's one of the better third-person shooters that I've ever played. It's not one of the best third-person shooters I've ever played, but it is a really, really, really tight, solid game, and I would recommend it. It's definitely an underrated game on the Xbox 360. So the last licensed game that I have, again, is based off a movie. And it's a movie that I've seen. Way! The movie was originally based off a comic series or a graphic novel, and that is Wanted: Weapons of Fate. I will just say that this game is stylish, it's slick, it's a cool game to play. If you've seen the movie, you know that the movie's stylish, it's trying really hard to be cool. Whereas the game doesn't try that hard to be cool, but it is actually cool. It's a really cool game to play. I don't believe it has any of the actors from the movies in it, but I might be wrong, I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've played it. So this is a third-person action game. Very much along the lines of the Bourne game that I mentioned a minute ago, but it is a lot better than people give it credit for. There was a lot of games on the 360, and I understand that not all of them are going to be great, but this is definitely better than people gave it credit for, and that is why it's in this video. Again, I'm just trying to bring these games to your attention so you could maybe go out and give them a go, and then you can find a game that you like, and I would have done that for you. But yeah, Wanted: Weapons of Fate is another underrated game on the Xbox 360. So the last underrated Xbox 360 game for this video is Viking: Battle for Asgard. Now this is a third-person action game where you play as a Viking who, guess what, is having a battle for Asgard. The controls and the combat are smooth and seamless. The animation and graphics are very good, and the story is actually very, very deep, which you maybe wouldn't expect from this sort of game. It could be considered a hack and slash, but it's a little bit more than that. I think that this was maybe trying to be Xbox's answer to God of War, maybe? But it's not as good as the God of War games. Although I'm personally not a fan of the original God of War games. I know everybody always beats me up for that. But this game is really good. It's definitely worth your time. It's a very good third-person action game, and some of the kills are brutal. One really cool thing about this game is you have massive epic battles, and you are also able to cut off the limbs of your enemies, which, if that's your kind of thing, this is your kind of game. Again, if you've not tried it, definitely give it a go. I actually am considering taking the Xbox 360 downstairs just to play this game again. Out of every game that I have mentioned, this is my favourite, and this is the one that I would recommend the highest. If you haven't played it, definitely seek it out and give it a go. So that was my video about underrated Xbox 360 games. If there's any that I haven't mentioned, please comment down in the comments section. If there's enough that come up, I have a couple more that I would like to maybe talk about one day, but if there's enough that you guys mention, I would definitely do part 2 of this video. But if you liked what you saw, please subscribe to the channel and consider liking this video, as it is the thing that helps me the most. Also, like I said, comment down below to let me know of any games that you considered to be underrated on the Xbox 360. And as always, keep on gaming.